You know, I actually don't think that I could make more of an eyesore on this world if I tried. This thing is so loud, it looks absolutely disgusting. But the thing is we're going to need quite a lot of moss for the first thing planned in this video, so the farm is very much needed. Now that I think of it, I'm actually also going to need a super smelter quite bad. And voila! A super smelter has been made. Okay, let's settle down for a second and talk about last video, where I made this bridge right here. I didn't really show off the building process or anything, as the bridge wasn't really the central point of the video, but it's the most recent addition to this world, and it's something that I'm going to come back to and extend in the future, and so it goes off somewhere else. But for now, I'm really enjoying building, and I think today's plan is I'm going to make a big impact on this world with a build that I've needed to make for quite a while. But before we make that build, the first thing we're going to start off with is actually the backdrop for the build to come. People often forget, myself included, when making a build, that there is more to just the building itself that you're creating. There's the backdrop, there's the environment around it. So what we're going to start off with today is making that backdrop, which is also going to have a secondary purpose of covering up this absolute eyesore that I've made, which is the moss farm and the super smelter. Oh, can I also just say, I am learning as I'm going. Making any sort of farm, and when they say in the tutorial, which I'll link down below, when they say in the tutorial to use building blocks, do not use something that is instantly mineable with a pickaxe. It makes the whole process so difficult. I've accidentally broke this farm so many times just by accidentally tapping my mouse. So that is a pro tip. Don't do that. Don't use calcite as a building block. Okay, as I say though, we are in urgent need of covering up these two farms with something a little bit prettier. So without further ado, let's get started with that, and I'll catch up with you very, very shortly. And with that finished, we have made a lovely looking mountain. I'm very happy with how this build turned out, but I must say that it took learning a whole new skill set to make it, which was learning the mod Axiom. It took quite a bit of fandangling to get this mountain in the way that I wanted it to look. I've learned a lot of new tools on Axiom, being the painter tool, what was the other one called? The elevation tool, that was it. I used that one a lot when I was making this mountain, but I also used something called tool masks, which I'd never used before, and that would give me the opportunity to say, don't affect the tough blocks and don't affect the moss blocks, but only affect stone. So when I would use the painter tool, it would only paint the stone blocks. So I could get these kind of accents on the side or on the curves of the build. It was quite interesting. What I've learned here is that Axiom really is the way forward. It's amazing for both huge and small builds. It's just a builder's tool, and it's really fine-tuned to be very helpful to any builder in any situation. So I would highly recommend it. Anyway, coming back to the mountain, I think one thing that's missing is any sort of foliage or things on it, because it looks a little bit bare bones at the moment. So I'm going to just sort that real quick, and I'll get back to you very shortly. And lovely. I think that looks a lot better. So we have completed our backdrop, and I think it's a very nice addition to the world. And the absolutely brilliant thing is that it covers up the eyesores that I made at the start of the video, which was the moss farm and the super smelter. When coming in here, there's actually quite a lot of space where I could put some other small little farms. I did consider it, and then I'm starting to now stray away from that idea, you know, of cramming loads of little farms under this mountain. The reason is that it's so nice making specific builds. So if I did want to make a small sheep farm, I would make a build for that, and it would fill up this world instead of me just cramming another ugly farm under this mountain. Right, okay, now that we've lit up underneath that mountain and I have tactically edited out the 2 creeper explosions that happened, what I want to talk about just before making the main build of this video is last video and the absolutely lovely feedback that I got. Some of the comments on last video were so nice. I mean, I'll put a couple on screen, but you're going to have to pause them because people seem to be going out of their way on a few of my videos and typing absolute paragraphs, and I love it. So it was very kind to read that, and I really am glad that last video was something that people enjoyed, because it was my favorite video that I've ever made. I felt like the production was good. I felt like the build that I made was good. I felt like the topic I was talking about was good, and people seemed to resonate with it. So yeah, thank you very much. I felt like I couldn't go without mentioning that in this video. So yeah, thank you. Now, swiftly moving on from that, I don't know if you've realized already, but I am struggling with storage. Storage is one of those things in Minecraft where you can get way too comfortable just using a horrible, messy, chest monster buried in your base. And that is where I'm at the moment. I think that even though I made this house, only a couple episodes ago, I feel like I've grown out of it already with some of the builds that I'm doing, and I absolutely need more space. I made this, bunker area where I thought, okay, I'll just dump everything in here, but it's not working. It's not working. It's too messy. I hate it. I don't like it. And I need a storage system ASAP. So if you haven't guessed already, the build in today's video is going to be just that, and we're going to make a lovely looking storage room. When I was planning this build as well, I don't think I'm one to have one of those automatic storage systems. I don't think I'm fussed about that. I don't mind rooting through chests and, organizing them myself by hand. I really don't mind that. So we're going to keep the chests loose, but we're going to keep them organized, and we're going to have a dedicated spot for all these chests. It's going to be big as well, because we have quite a lot of storage that we need. So yeah, I've got a rough idea for the build. I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to keep on the theme of going out of my comfort zone as well. So we'll see how it goes. So I'm not going to stall any longer. We're going to jump into the time lapse that everyone's been waiting for, and we're going to cook up this storage system because we desperately need it. So I'll be back soon. Sometimes you really need to give yourself a pat on the back. This build right here has been weeks and weeks of planning and placing and resource gathering and more placing. It's been a grind to get this build done. Like, this isn't what I'm used to, these hyper detailed builds and, block palettes, gradients, whatever. It's not something that I'm used to, and I've really tried to go for it here, and I think that it's come out well. I've really tried to focus on the composition of this main shot that we have, this head-on focus point. I think I've done it well. I love it. I love the mountain in the background, the birds in the open space, and, this tower in the middle. I think your eyes are drawn to that as well. And obviously the banners are a pop of colour as well. I think it's great. I think it's all come together so well. I love it. But there's not just the main focus point, there's also this little tower on the left. The actual tower has no purpose whatsoever. It's purely a frame. If you have actually seen the first episode that I made on this world, I talked about having something sat on the perch of this mountain and how cool it would be to have, different things that frame that whatever goes on there. I don't know what's going to go on there yet. But it is kind of the ultimate goal that I have, is to have something really beautiful and nice on the top of that mountain. So all my builds that I'm going to make are just going to frame this, whatever goes on there. I don't know what. But yes, I am very, very pleased with this build. I've also birthed Nathaniel, and I would appreciate it if you'd say hello. You said hello? Good, okay. And of course, we can talk about the fancy exterior all we want, but it is a storage room at the end of the day, and it needs to serve a purpose, so we have done a little bit of an interior. I say a little bit because the upstairs is slightly lacking, but it's fine because the downstairs is serving its purpose as a storage room, which is just so helpful. I've moved out all the horrible chests in my old base, put them into here and organized them as well, and it's so much better. It's gonna allow me to make builds so much easier in the future, I think. And the keen-eyed among you will have seen the sneaky little minecart that I have here to get upstairs. So you go like this, and boom, I'm upstairs. I'll do it one more time really quick, but pay attention, look. And boom, I'm upstairs. Look at that. That's crazy. It just saves a really, boring walk to get upstairs, which I'm probably going to have to do a lot because I'm going to fill these rooms with chests and different, dedicated areas for different chests. I probably won't show that because it's a bit boring, but yeah. But it's a quick way for me to get up here and not have to take the stairs every time. There is also a ladder into the tower, which is pretty nice, and you get quite a nice little view from up there. And then going to the very top, we've got 2 more rooms up here. I have no clue what is going to go in these yet, but there will be something, and as I say, I'll probably do it off camera. But ladies and gentlemen, what a pleasure it has been to learn all these new wonderful skill sets and also make this lovely looking build to add on to our world. If you made it to this point in the video, then holy attention span. Thank you very much for staying around this long and seeing what I made, because it's taken quite a long time. So yeah, thanks for sticking around. And I am now going to end off this video and start planning the next build. So I will see you in the foreseeable future. Again, thanks a lot for sticking around, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.